The slippery discrimination slope that conservative lawmakers call religious freedom is tripping up Michigan's adoption policies. So Republican Governor Rick Snyder signed a bill into law that will allow faith-based adoption agencies in the state to cite religious beliefs as a reason to deny potential adoptive parents. The law allows agencies to deny services if they conflict with sincerely held religious beliefs contained in a written policy. It also prohibits the state from taking any action against agencies that do so, including stripping public funds or otherwise discriminating against them. So to kind of break it down, they're like, no way, gays, you can't give a child a good home, but oh yeah, gays, we will take your taxes. Like, if you
to fund the organizations that are discriminating against
exactly, these adoption agencies. That
So I wonder if Caitlyn Jenner is going to remain a Republican. I mean, this is what I'm thinking about. First of all, who are the people in Michigan? You know, they vote for the Taliban. That's what this guy is, this Rick Snyder. He's anti-worker, he's anti-gay, he's anti-humanity, right? And it's this backward thinking, this dark ages that has come on America ever since Ronald Reagan married the Republican Party to the religious right. And we need people to step up. You know, the problem is we do have atheists in the country that are finally saying something. People who are respected, right? Guys like Sam Harris are standing up, saying things. Christopher Hitchens said things before he died. Bill Maher. We need people to say things against religion so we can get their ignorance out of our culture. The problem is when the atheists stand up and say things against religion, they also do it in a discriminatory way against certain religions, right?
Yeah.
So that's a problem. But we need to. It's like left and right. And then when do people get sick and tired of discriminating against other people? When do they say stop? You know, they've been doing it out in the open, denying people the right to vote from coast to coast ever since Barack Obama got elected, right? And they brag about it. So and the mainstream media, the corporate media, lets them do things like that as if it's just a matter of opinion. They say they're discriminating. They say it, they're not. I guess we'll never know.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I just Eddie, I've seen one more of these stories. I'm just going to throw up.
Yeah, I hate that like the studies actually they've done the studies. You know, can same-sex couples actually raise a child in a way that produces a healthy kid? That evidence is out there, and they could rely on it if they wanted to. And then I also hate that people will reference studies like that because it doesn't fucking matter if they can raise them in places where they do just as well as straight couples. We don't discriminate based on if your kid's going to be able to read at a high enough level. Like, I could show you some couples, man, and you look at them, you know that kid is doomed before he's ever born. They're still legally allowed to adopt kids and to raise kids. They're allowed to do that. And so it's ridiculous that even, especially considering that the results are already in, that they're discriminating against those people. And I especially love the irony of them saying, these organizations are allowed to take taxpayer money and they can discriminate against gay people. You are not allowed to strip them of funding or discriminate against them. Now, what if it was a gay-run adoption agency? Would they be allowed to discriminate against them then? That's the question I have for Michigan.
Well, if it's a Catholic Charities, I think that is a gay adoption agency. Am I wrong? Isn't that ironic, right? That they're trying to protect the Catholics who've been raping kids for decades and covering it up and spending millions of dollars on lawyers to stop people from catching them raping kids. Yeah. And they're the ones that we have to protect from the gays. No, it's them. We have to protect people from the Catholics.
Yeah.
And these are actual lawsuits you're talking about. I mean, you're not. This is not anecdotal.
No.
You know, and that's what this is codified. This is like we have, like you said, we have this data. The thing that really trips me up about all this too is the language used in these bills, sincerely held religious beliefs. How is sincerely held like some sort of legal jargon? How do you decide what is sincere? You know, I sincerely I sincerely want Ryan Gosling to marry me. You know, I sincerely feel that. I feel that it's spiritual. Is that a religious belief? No. But I'm sincere about it.
I don't think brown-eyed people can raise kids. I sincerely believe that.
Exactly. See, and you're taking that study there, and like let's just like pull it out and talk about how would that manifest itself if we take this law and try to apply the language. It's impossible.
Yeah.
It's slippery, and that's the problem. Is it's so easy, and that's what opponents are saying, to then discriminate against people for sexual orientation or marital status and religion.
Yeah. I'm gonna bet.
It's like it affects other religions if we're talking about religious freedom here, because you can decide, well, I don't like your religion, so.
Yeah. And again, there's still Christians at the top of their lungs on television talking about how Christians are being persecuted in America, when it's the exact opposite. Christians still want to persecute other people. They still want to discriminate against other people who are not like them. They still want to be anti-constitutional or unconstitutional in their legislation. They don't really care about separation of church and state. They're not really Americans. They're not really Americans, these kind of religious nuts. And it's the dark ages of American politics since Ronald Reagan. And in 100 years, that will be known as that.
Yeah.
You know, right now, that's too close. People still like Ronald Reagan for whatever reason, even though he was a shitty president. People still, in fact, when he died, they buried him 3 times, right? They had 3 different funerals for him. And at none of those funerals did anybody remember to drive a stake through his heart and cut his head off.
I was waiting for something.
Yeah.
I was like, where is it coming?
Wow. Just really fast.
Yeah,
I love that you pointed out the sincerely believed, because I've never really noticed that before. But I think we know what it is. It's an attempt to put a veneer of importance on something that at the end of the day is just like your opinion, man. That's
Yeah, it's
your
just
fucking
your-
opinion. I've got opinions.
Oh, like
Actually,
I
I
said.
even get paid to say them. These people don't even get paid to say them. So how the hell is it becoming law based on that? It's absolutely ridiculous. Give them the chance. If anybody wants to give an orphaned kid a chance at a life with a family, they should fucking get the chance to do it. And for you to say those kids are better off just waiting somewhere, maybe someday someone else will give them a chance. Fuck you, family values. You're specifically saying fuck families.
There's like 13,000 kids in the state waiting to be adopted. And this is just the state. We know how
13,000.
bureaucratic adoption policies are and how expensive, how difficult it is to find homes for these children. And it's just one more obstacle. And we are asking, like, you just cannot discriminate against Americans and then ask for American taxpayer money.
Yeah.
That logic is broke, which is why you should go broke. You don't get my money.
Good point.